The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports. Detroit's winning sports network. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit. But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go! Thursday show, July 13th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. See you, D-Mac. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you are watching live. However you are consuming Woodward Sports, we certainly appreciate you. We are coming to you live from Outdoor Equipment Company in Ray, Michigan, just off of North Avenue here. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
I made sure I told all my people where I was at. I wrote the address down so they know where I'm at. Don't want no funny business. All right, no, I'm just joking. I'm doing good, man. I had a chance to check out a little bit of that Netflix quarterback show last night. My show Suits is still going well. It's a beautiful day. And it's good. We're under the tent for a change, so not have to deal with the sun like when we were at Dispo Romeo. So it's a good day for me.
We have a great setup out here at Outdoor Equipment Company, but none better. Nobody has a better setup than the one, the only Tom Mazawey.
Look at
Tom,
this guy.
Good afternoon to you, my friend.
What up, fellas? Get out of my way.
Clearly.
I'm coming at you.
What are you on there, Maz? What do we even call
I'm on a
that?
badass
That's a
tractor.
monster of a machine. I
I think it's called the Avenger, if I'm not mistaken.
The bad boy Avenger, the thing plows, the thing
man.
cuts, the thing
This
bowls
thing can do
over.
anything. Look at my shifter. Look at this. It's first, second, third.
You don't know anything
You
about
don't know what
shifting
you're doing.
nothing.
Have you ever felt so much power between your legs, man?
Not recently.
I'm not touching that comment.
Now, Maz, set the stage for us here. You were out here earlier today when
Yes.
Darren McCarty, I believe, went on a
D-Mac.
tractor
He
race.
did. He took it over to the racetrack, which is behind us. I think he hit a couple of what do you call those things?
Hay barrels?
Not hay barrels, but
Hey, Bell.
hay bales.
There-
Hit some
hay
bales.
bale, there we go.
But he
Bale,
did good.
hay.
He knew he was right next to you
bale
guys.
of hay.
He put that sucker in gear and he took right off. He knew exactly what he was doing.
I swear, it is an absolute skill to drive
Yeah.
this machinery. Any one of these things. We were just on a little tour inside in Bray. I'm not even sure I would know how to start one of these things, let alone drive one.
Hey, look, man, I'm cars and golf carts. That's all I got for you. I can operate golf carts. I can operate car. I can't even unnecessarily operate go-karts. I stick to golf carts and regular cars, man. That's where I draw the line.
We are out here on 27 Mile Road in Ray, Michigan. We invite everybody to come out. We'll be out here through 4 o'clock, and it's a lot of fun. If you like outdoors, if you like this machinery, they've got great deals on everything you might need for your home, for your business. Outdoor Equipment Company.
Christmas in July.
It absolutely is.
And we're here right through the heavies.
Oh, the heavyweights are
I
here
did
at
see
5
Spencer
o'clock, too.
over somewhere. I also saw a driving range down the street, so you know I'm always heavy when there's golf around. So.
Sick Hills is just down the block, I believe.
Sick Hills, I might try my Hickory something.
Oh,
down the
yeah,
street, too.
absolutely. Guys, big show for you today. Coming up, we've got John Bacon in about 25 minutes from now. Want to talk more about that Northwestern situation. We'll talk a lot about Michigan football with him. We've got a Michigan football conversation you and I want to have, and we'll include John Bacon in on that. Braylon, we're going to talk Detroit Lions today as well. So many different things going on with them, but I do want to start with something we've been talking about over the last couple of days, and that is baseball, the All-Star game, fan participation, viewership, incredibly or not incredibly, however you want to view it. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game had its lowest ever ratings. 7.1 million viewers tuned in to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. And Bray, if you'll allow me the opportunity to go to the baseball guru first for this. Somebody
I would appreciate that.
Complains that fans are missing out on everything that baseball has to offer. Tom Mazawey, I'll ask you two questions. One, are you shocked to hear this low number, 7.1 million, the lowest of all time? And two, How does baseball get this number up? How do you drum up interest for Major League Baseball, or if this is just an all-star game fatigue situation?
First of all, watched it again last night because I couldn't really watch it in depth on Tuesday. So I really enjoyed it. Fast forwarded through the commercials, the whole 9 yards. Great game, great broadcast. Loved hearing from the players. It is still the highest-rated all-star game of all the other sports. That said, it is the lowest number ever, and it comes on a day from the 1971 All-Star Game. Today's the anniversary from Tiger Stadium. The most Hall of Famers. Reggie Jackson hitting the transformer. Probably would have knocked it a couple of blocks past Michigan and Trumbull if it hadn't hit in that light tower. I'm disappointed at the people that aren't watching it and aren't paying attention. They're missing some great players. That said, there was no Aaron Judge. A lot of other players were injured. A lot of players that you guys don't know were in this game. Once this game gets sped up and all, and they got to do a better opportunity to tell people about it, because none of us even knew if that game was tied after 9, they would have went to a home run derby contest. They would have picked 3 players from each team to participate. Most home runs from those 3 players would have won the game for their conference, for their league. That would have been off the hook awesome. And they came probably a foot away from tying that game in the 9th, the American League. I forgot who hit it to deep right. It was caught at the wall by Mookie. But that was it. They have to – no one knew. Like last night, I didn't even know the ESPYs were on.
Did no idea.
Did you guys knew the ESPYs were on?
Had no idea.
Until I saw something on Twitter, I had no idea that the ESPYs were on last night. Dick Vitale, God bless him. He's fighting right now. He's got cancer of the vocal cords. It's very treatable, but unfortunately he's got to go through all that radiation and stuff again. Had he not tweeted out that he was there a year ago accepting the Jimmy V Award, I wouldn't even known it was on. And we'll hear from DeMar Hamlin, and that was a special moment. We'll do that later. But as far as baseball goes, guys, they got to win the youngsters back. I did see a stat that Rob Manfred probably put out, that the median age of people buying a ticket went from 49 to 46, now down to 42 years of age.
That's pretty good.
It's decent. It's heading towards the right thing, but still in the 40s, right? You need the 20s.
Yeah, you definitely need the 20s, man. And, and the game is great. The game is great. There's a lot of great hitters in the game. I was privy to learn a little bit watching the All-Star game over the past, 3 days, as it will, the coverage. But they don't connect with the community anymore. Like, I just look at it from my standpoint. One of the reasons why I fell in love with baseball is it was available everywhere. It was available in my community. It was available in my neighborhood, whether I was in Detroit, whether when I lived in Atlanta, I was a member of the Brownsville Baseball League. Like, it was available for us. Now it's not available everywhere. It's become one of those sports. Travel league, it's AAU league, it's team, it's competitive, it's expensive to play. They don't just have it readily available in the neighborhoods. They don't have it at the community centers anymore. So the fact that they don't have it for everyone to play, like, you either got to be a foreigner that comes over, or you got to be an individual that's playing on these travel teams, these expensive teams. You're not watching it. You're not privy to it. You don't pay attention. You don't follow. And if you can't connect to it, if your parents can't connect you in it, if no one in the community connects you into it, it's going to be a distant thought. And that's why you won't connect those 20-year-olds, man. It'll be stuck at the 40-year-olds, man. I don't see it getting past that.
And I just go back to this, too, guys.
Yeah.
And
you don't think it'll get better?
It's getting less and less individuals that speak English because it's less and less available to individuals in this country. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the neighborhood, it used to be free when I was a kid. I mean, you had to pay for your uniform and things like that. But a lot of those leagues have fallen by the wayside. So everything is like hockey. Remember how special hockey was? Like, to play hockey is expensive. Yeah, you can't find hockey unless you're in a junior league, in a club, or you're at a certain school like a Catholic Central or you're D. Jesuit.
I do agree with Braylon in that respect. Outside of the Detroit PAL League,
yeah,
which is so
got rid of their baseball program.
They're at Tiger Stadium now. The PAL,
they took
it over.
They got rid of their baseball league. Now they're basketball, track, and football.
So they do still play baseball at the corner, though.
Yeah, but only in like celebrity things. Yes,
that's
to your point.
exactly
That's where the headquarters is.
No, I'm agreeing with you in this respect. Baseball, as far as a youth sport, feels like it's becoming such an elite sport that prices people out. Yeah. It really does. It feels like it's an all-year-round travel situation that feels like it's pricing a number of kids out. You get to a certain point. where I live in Grosse Pointe, they used to have the Babe Ruth League. There's no more Babe Ruth League. It is only travel, and that is such a shame.
Yep.
It is such a shame that they took the city
They suffocated
Little
it.
League really out of it. Now they have the Grosse Pointe Little League, and you play a couple of weeks there, and then everybody gets on their tournament teams and all that stuff, and they start traveling all over. I feel like whether it's Detroit, Grosse Pointe, or any other community, you have now taken the game away of the just
one of the purest
being
forms,
a kid,
yeah.
having fun, and you've made it this elite game that only
good players can play.
good players and kids that can afford it.
Correct.
I would go so far as to say this: when we were kids, when we were younger in neighborhood, every neighborhood way back when, they had a baseball diamond before they had playgrounds like slides and monkey bars. They had baseball diamonds. They had parks, and the kids in the neighborhood, you would go up there and play baseball. No matter how many people you had, you would find a way to play a game. And they had rec centers and they had leagues, and it was like that. And then they got away from that, and now, like I said, it's like hockey, man. You got to go out there. Parents got to spend that money. Like, you can't just go up there and play anymore. Parents got to spend money, which means parents got to be available to spend that money. You got to be the availability of the parent. And a lot of parents aren't available to spend
You
money
guys
on
got
baseball.
a good point, man,
And
when it comes to that. When it comes to the little leagues getting literally suffocated by the travel teams.
Yep.
And it happens to the schools, too, like St. Joan of Arc,
Yeah.
let's say. If they got a game and the kid, one of the better kids on the team, my travel team has a game that day. You're supposed to play for your school first, but they make you
Choose.
so they embarrass you. They make you feel bad, plus you're paying all that money. Of course you're going to go and leave your friends behind and go play with your travel friends.
And not to pick on my city, but that's the one I live in, and that's the one I know most about. I was driving by Elworthy Field yesterday, and I feel like it's a good reflection of where baseball is right now in the communities. You talk about the lowest rated all-star game. You talk about why people aren't watching this game. You talk about why young people don't care about baseball anymore. I think, Braylon, what you're saying is spot on. Maz, you the same.
Yeah.
But I passed by Elworthy Field in Grosse Pointe yesterday on Neff. There at Neff Road, there's a sign, a plaque. It says, "Please stay off this field."
There you have it.
I said, "What? Are you freaking kidding me? The hell do you mean stay off the field?"
It's a private field now. They have times. They have
Like,
hours. It's no longer for the kids.
What do you
or
mean
public.
stay off the field? Like, when I was a kid, and I don't mean to be that guy, but when I was a kid, we grabbed the neighborhood guys. We went up to the closest diamond, which was St. Veronica.
Yeah.
We went up to the closest diamond, and we played baseball. Or we play, you get the basketball hoop in the parking lot. You take a bat. Am I not allowed to go shoot hoops on the parking lot? Basketball hoop anymore either?
Well, it's like when we were younger, and I don't want to be that guy either, but actually having fun with this conversation, I am that guy. I'm 40. When we were younger, like, everybody was outside. Even if you had video games, everybody was outside. Like, everybody was outside. Everybody got picked up on a team. There was a place for everybody. There's no longer that. There's the people that are invested in sport, and those people are going to be on a private team. They're going to be on a club team. They're going to be on the AAU circuit. They're going to travel. They're going to do all things. There's parents will have them in that. And the people that don't care about sport, there were a lot of people that didn't care about sports when we played, but they played anyway. They wanted to make friends. This is what to do. This is what everybody did. Those kids now don't have to do that. They can stay inside. They can be gamers. They can be programmers, IT guys. They don't have to be a part of the norm. Back in the day, we all were outside, and the great ones just end up being All-Americans and whatever, and the other ones end up going a different path. Now they choose that different path much and much earlier.
And, Maz, I go back to a point that I made yesterday that I really believe we are now truly a football country, and I do believe that's why, and you could tell me I'm wrong all you want, but that's why I do believe leagues like the XFL and the USFL can survive.
Yeah.
If you stick around you need 3 years for anything to stick. 3 years. If you can survive the first 3 years, you can stick around. We are such a football-dominant society. We understand that here at Woodward Sports. I'll speak for our show, the Ermanni and Edwards and Mash show. We understand that if we talk Lions, our numbers go up. If we talk anything else, our numbers go down.
Yep.
I mean, that's just and I think that's a really good barometer. And I apologize that I'm not talking about Lions right now.
We will, though.
We will. We'll get plenty of Lions talk. But it is just a fact that if we talk Lions, our numbers are big, and if we talk anything other than Lions, our numbers are much lower. But that doesn't whether that dictates how you want to do a show or not, because you got to talk about what's going on. And when you see this All-Star game number, it just can't help but understand. You can't help but understand and try to figure out why that number is what it is.
It just seems like we can steady this point for me. I think it's the representation and this would it make it easier, like for black people, I'll give you an example, or like people that just didn't necessarily have money. Baseball is an easy outlet back in the day. There was always some bats on the field. There was always random gloves. You could play baseball, and everybody in the community played baseball. Like nobody was in the community and brothers playing hockey. Brothers weren't in the community doing soccer and things of that nature. And then as it relates to less and less material, like look at football. Football is a product of track. If guys can run, if guys got some size, the coach is going to find a reason to make him be okay to play football, going to find a reason for him to come to this school, this institution. Like basketball, all you need is a ball. That's simple. Guys can get out there and shoot a ton of jumpers. All you need is a basketball, some shorts, and a jersey. You can go to any playground and shoot, starting at the age of 6 or 7. Baseball now is like hockey now. It's like golf now. It's like tennis. Instructors cost, equipment cost, sessions cost, coaches cost, and then it becomes about clubbing. Plane tickets cost, events cost, the outings cost, the tournaments cost. That's why you're seeing a lot of families, black, white, Chinese, Asian, they don't have the money anymore to do all those sports. They're like, look, if you can play basketball, fine, we'll support that because we don't have much money. If you want to run track, we support that. Football, if you got size, a coach can grab you. But baseball, hockey, tennis, golf, it's expensive sports, and you're not seeing those sports represent the majority of this country anymore. You're seeing that being represented by football. You're seeing that being represented by basketball.
It's a hard point to argue, Braylon. I think you're spot on about that. And circle back to the point that I forgot to make initially that I wanted to make and reiterate from yesterday. I do think –
Is this the first segment still?
Yeah.
I
all
love
right.
it.
I do believe that since COVID, we have learned to live without. Go look at the ratings for the NHL, go look at the NBA, and go look at Major League Baseball. People learned to live without those three sports throughout COVID.
Yeah.
The NHL didn't play, the NBA didn't play, and when they did, it was in a bubble, which nobody cared about. Major League Baseball didn't play, and when they did, it was with no fans in empty stadiums. People learned to live without. When people learn to live without, it takes a hell of a long time to get them back. The one sport that did not was the NFL, and it is as big as ever.
It did play without fans, though.
That was horrible, too. You're right, man. I forget all about that sometimes. The year that Tom Brady
But they never missed a game.
This is true.
They never missed one game.
The one thing I was gonna say in terms of it hit me. It was a good one.
Tom
too.
Brady?
It was but Tom Brady. I was talking about because he won the Super Bowl that year. I was gonna say
COVID, missing games.
It was the COVID. It was the missing games. It was something around the missing games. It'll come to me though.
All right, very good stuff, guys. Thank you for being along with us. We are at Outdoor Equipment Company, one of the fine sponsors here at Woodward Sports Network. A great partnership that we have here with them, and we are at their facility on 27 Mile Road in Ray, Michigan. Great facility. It is Christmas in July out here.
Some hack and sack over there.
They've got everything that you could, LS Tractor, Steel, Red Max, Wright, Liberty Industries, Bad Boy mowers, anything you could possibly want. Maz is on a bad boy right now. He is looking as bad as he ever has in his life. Absolutely. We're going to get a message from Five Iron. We're going to get a message from 5 Iron Golf Gang. And coming up next, we'll talk to John Bacon at 2:30. And coming up next, I want to talk a little Michigan football with you, Braylon and Edwards. But first, a message from 5 Iron Golf.
Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf now. It is now officially open downtown Detroit at the Cambria Hotel. Look, plain and simple, you come down, have some fun. 13 simulators, restaurant, bar. It's a good time. You can rent out rooms for events, etc., things like that. And also, if you mention promo code Woodward Sports, well, first time you go, you get a 50% off. Downtown, it's a new thing to do. It's always hot downtown Detroit, especially inside the Cambria Hotel at 5 Iron Golf, Detroit.
Winning is a habit. So is listening daily to Woodward Sports. We're glad you're a winner, and thanks for listening.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Woodward Sports Network. Subscribe to Woodward Sports Network. Less than 300 subscribers away from 45,000 on this platform. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey with really I didn't think the shot back in the studio could get any better, the Maz chair, but it looks like the Maz chair is pretty damn good over there on the bad boy mower.
I'm missing my Lady Jane's behind me, though.
Oh, I'm sure the rest of the chat is as well, Tom Mazawey. We're going to talk to John Bacon coming up bottom of the hour. Braylon, we talk about this quite often, but it was really highlighted with an Instagram post that says, essentially, Michigan football better take care of business in 2023 this year, because in 2024, it is an absolute gauntlet.
It's a gauntlet. It is gauntlet. No Thanos. Now, you look at that. You look at the schedule that came out last week. I mean, it came out yesterday. Looking at Michigan. Ryan, where's the schedule? Do we have it put up right there now, JB? You got it up there? All right. So as you're looking at the schedule right now, Michigan starts off to get against Fresno State. Fresno State, they're going to have athletes. Is that the right schedule?
No, this is the 2024 schedule, talking about being at USC, at OSU versus Texas. They play
UCLA.
Penn State, UCLA, Wisconsin. It's a hell of a schedule. For as much as we talk about the ease of Michigan's schedule last year and this year, next year, really opens up. Penn State, UCLA, Wisconsin.
For some reason, like every Michigan football schedule on there was kept to Fresno State. But you're right. I did see the one that you're talking about. It's not this one. I don't know what's going on with the laptop. But, yeah, it's an interesting schedule, and it makes you, Ryan, it makes you think about 2023. It makes you think about this year, seizing it this year. You look at that schedule, man, you're going to have to play Sarkisian year 4 with Texas. You're going to have to play USC, Lincoln Riley. You see what he built last year. I mean, in 1 year, Lincoln Riley went from a 4-win team. He won 11 games, and to be honest, he was this close. He was an injury away from getting into the college football playoff. You look at Ohio State, you know they're going to be on the schedule. Wisconsin to be better because Luke Fickell will have had 2 years.
Forgot Luke Fickell was there.
Exactly.
Jeez.
It'll be his second year at Wisconsin. That's going to be a mean schedule, not to mention you're going to play you-know-who, Mr. Dennis Franklin, who can't seal the deal, or James Franklin. This is the year. Like, that's why 2020 is so important. Look, you sent me a text when I sent you the schedule. You said, we ain't scared of nobody. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I ain't scared. We ain't scared.
Look, you're absolutely right, and I love that. It's not about being scared. It's about being smart. Like, this is the year. Michigan has to take it this year. You look at the schedule. Once again, it's a very open schedule. In fact, that's a nice way to say it's an easy schedule. They really don't have to worry about anybody except Penn State and Ohio State. And really, I'm just being nice. It's only Ohio State that they have to worry about, and that's at home. They got Alabama this year. First-year starting quarterback. You know how important that is, especially considered last year with Bryce Young. You start to see the chinks in the armor for Alabama. Now they have to start over with a young guy, a new guy. Then you look at Georgia. Yeah, in Georgia, 2 national championships back-to-back. They are the toughest. They are the truth. But we've seen teams in years past, when you give up a ton of people to the NFL in a 2-year period, you know how many people they gave up in 2022, now 2023? They've given up a ton of players, and guess what? They're on a rookie quarterback. So you got to strike while the iron's hot. Not to mention Ohio State, I mentioned them. They have a first-year quarterback as well. You're returning Blake Corum. You're returning the best offensive line in the country. You're returning J.J. McCarthy, that now this will be his first year not having to deal with, is he the quarterback? Is he the guy? Is he going to beat out Cade McNamara? He's the guy. You got wide receivers. Roman Wilson came back this year. Cornelius Johnson, the defensive side of the ball. That line has revamped. Speaking of Johnson's on the other side of the ball, Will Johnson, he's year 2. He's top 5 ranked DB in the country right now in year 2. This has got to be the year for Jim Harbaugh. Michigan, they're set up, they're ready. They dominate the Big Ten, they dominate Ohio State, and you got a bunch of rookie quarterbacks starting the other teams. I tell you what, Brian Kelly and LSU, those guys are going to take advantage of the young quarterbacks at Alabama and Georgia.
They're going to win the SEC.
I agree with you 100%. Caleb Williams, he's going to take advantage of the young quarterbacks that are coming into the Pac-12 this year. Look, this is the year for Michigan because of how it's set up, because of how good it is. It's not BS when people say this is Jim Harbaugh's best team returning. This is Jim Harbaugh's best team returning.
Tom Mazawey, when Jim Harbaugh was hired back in 2015, didn't it feel like this was what he was hired to do? Yep. Have a team and really the history of a team. You could call it whatever you want. They have won the Big Ten championship 2 years in a row. They have made it to the college football playoff 2 years in a row. They have not had success in that playoff, but now as they come back, experienced in year 3, essentially J.J. McCarthy, this is everything that you wanted.
No doubt, man. This is what I dreamed of when Jim Harbaugh would come, and I would be bragging to all those Michigan State fans, my friends, that were living high in the hog for 10 years, and I'm like, your day is coming. And then came trouble with the snap. And I almost gave up hope. And here I am, a few years later. Sean McDonough, great call, by the way. I'll never forget it. But I want to forget that game. Since that day, I said Jim Harbaugh kind of lost his way, lost his soul almost. He's gotten it back now, and he's one of the best college coaches in the game. Matter of fact, I got a segment later. There's 6 top college coaches. We're going to put them in order. FanDuel did. I want to see if you will agree with that. So Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, this is the time. Got to win it. I look at Alex's T-shirt. Look at Alex's T-shirt. Mish again, Ryan. Mish again on Alex's T-shirt.
I love it.
That's what I'm saying. This is the time, man. Strike now while the iron's hot.
Yeah, simply put, man, and the last thing I'll say on it, Mish, again, you want to do it, but this time you want to do it for the first time. You want to win that national championship this year. Take advantage of the uncertainty of the other schools. Take advantage of the unsureness of the powerhouses. You guys, Michigan is the one team in this country this year. They know who they are, top to bottom. They know who they are offense. They know who they are defense. They know who they are at quarterback, and they know who they are at the head coaching position. This is the year. You're the only institution in the country that knows that. Take advantage.
We'll take a break. John Bacon when we come back. But first, a message from Les Stanford, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 55 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC, same great service that customers have come to know. Go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile, as they've added those 2 brands. Of course, looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella, LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit. But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. However, you are watching or listening to Woodward Sports. We absolutely appreciate you, and we absolutely appreciate this guy, John U. Bacon. We always seem to track him down on vacation, but he's always kind enough.
He's always on vacation.
Just say yes.
I was just about to say he's always
the
on
guy
vacation.
lives on vacation.
Only kidding, John.
John U., we love you. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well, Ryan. Maz, my friend, I say yes, and within 10 seconds, you bust me right in the chop. Love you, man.
I'm sorry, I just don't hear John.
Yo.
Can you hear me?
All right. Well, very good, gang. Very good. John U., we apologize. Having some technical difficulties
I do the same thing I do every
out here. Well, Maz, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I can only go from A to B. I got nothing to do with C.
Yeah, we're going to try again.
We're going to try him again. Okay, live television or live YouTube, as they say.
We can start the conversation right now, you and I, because this is going to be the question that I ask him. You know, looking at this Michigan schedule this year, we'll focus on next year, but this year, what's like that game? What's like the game that bothers you? And you can't tell me, well, no, none of the games bother me because we're going 12-0.
I'll tell you, and you're not going to like it.
Blah, blah,
I'll tell you exactly the game that I'm.
What's the game,
I'll
Ryan?
tell you. And you're not going to like it. You're going to tell me I'm crazy, but I got to give you an answer to the question.
And I got to listen to the answer you give me.
At Nebraska.
I don't
Michigan
mind that.
at Nebraska is going to be their Super Bowl. It will be their BCS national championship game. It will be their college football playoff national championship game. Everything Nebraska works for under Matt Rule in year one, trying to build a culture, trying to build a program, will be focused on, pointed towards that game in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I think that is the toughest, that is the first test Michigan will play, first true road test Michigan will play, and I'm curious to see how they battle it.
I don't have a problem with it. Like it's probably the second one. I didn't actually think about it until you said it. Now I'm like, damn, should I make that my number one? You're right. I mean, we remember 2 years ago. Remember how hard that game was for Cade McNamara. I remember how that game went into the fourth quarter. Lincoln was jumping. If you don't know, Lincoln is a city that Nebraska is. That's a damn good one. Matt Rule, he's gonna have those guys fired up. He's probably playing a two-team schedule game. He's probably got two teams on his schedule that he has highlighted for those kids, and he's going to get those guys ready to play those games. I guarantee you, Ryan, that they will be going over Michigan's offense during training camp, putting in, this is what we used to do. When you're playing the big teams, you do a play here or there. And you know what I'm saying? Just to talk about these teams, you do a couple plays. That way you focus on them every day. You have something for them. The team for me is Purdue. Purdue. It's at Michigan, but it's the week before we play Penn State. Purdue is always that team, man. I'm talking about the Brown brothers. They always do a good job of concocting good offense, good defense when you're playing against Ohio State, when you're playing against the bigger teams of Wisconsin. Purdue always has something up their sleeves. They always have a guy like Rondell Moore, who's the wide receiver for the Cardinals. They always have a quarterback like Aiden O'Connell who can throw for 1,000,000 yards. That's the one game that bothers me because I know Michigan is going to be thinking about Penn State, and I know Purdue can put points up every year. So that's the one game. Other than that, that Nebraska game is a damn good one.
You know, the Nebraska game, too, if you think about it, guys, because the way the calendar situates itself, and I'm not sure, maybe I'm just making stuff up at this point, but I look at they play 5 games in the month of September. That feels like a very long month to be capped off on September 30th at Lincoln, Nebraska. And again, I go back to when Jim Tressel took over at Ohio State, right? When Mark D'Antonio took over at Michigan State. When Mel Tucker took over at Michigan State. You have these games that you point to on the schedule that you put a lot more into than, let's say, if you're playing Rutgers. Sure, you want to beat Rutgers, but that's not making or breaking your program. That's not setting your program up for the future. That is something you believe you should do at Nebraska, is beat Rutgers.
You know what bothers me about it, and it's something you just said, and I'm going to add to it. I'm looking at the schedule as it lines up, Ryan. East Carolina, first game, nothing burger. UNLV, second game, nothing burger. Bowling Green, third game, nothing burger. Rutgers, for all Maz wants to talk about Greg Schiano and you two, nothing burger this year against Michigan. Then they go to Nebraska, 5th game on the road, To be decided, could be a night game. You never know. Matt Rule's first game, to go from 4 games where you don't have any intensity, any emotion, nothing on the line. Maz, what's going on?
See if John's there.
All right, John, are you there?
I think I am.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
There we go.
We got you.
I wish you guys would look at me. I was trying to wait for
you
for the
could
past 5
just say
minutes.
we're on the road. We're not in our usual studio, Maz. You could just say, "Hey, guys, fellas, I think we got John."
Hey, look, give me a look once in a while.
This guy, man.
I'm
Hello?
out of it. But John Eubank is on the phone,
Hey,
so let's
John,
talk
thanks,
to him.
buddy. Hey, one of the things we were talking about, and John, we thank you so much for the time as always. Sorry to keep you waiting if you were waiting, and sorry for the technical difficulties, etc. I want to start with Michigan before we get to the Pat Fitzgerald Northwestern situation. Braylon and I were just talking about a game
What's up,
on the
John?
schedule not named Ohio State that you have some concern about. And I mentioned Nebraska, 5th game of the year, first road game of the year. Matt Rule, what would be that game for you?
I got to go with Penn State. It's probably the easy answer.
Yeah.
You got a big echo and delay here, but I'll do my best.
Really
the good news
creative,
is it's a
John.
noon game, and of course, a whiteout at noon. Who cares? So,
Sure.
but that's a game they can lose, no question. But I think you're right that Nebraska is a good trap game for all the reasons you cite. First road game. Matt Rule is a serious coach. You know damn well he's lining up everything he's got for that game. If they simply push him to the fourth quarter, that is a victory for Matt Rule and his program. He'll use a close loss in recruiting.
Yeah, the big thing for me, John, is as we were talking about it, you look at the first 4 games, and always good to talk to. It's been a minute. East Carolina, that's a nothing burger in terms of the thought process. UNLV, it's the same thing. Bowling Green, Rutgers, it's the same thing in terms of getting up for the game. You know you're going to crush them. The game's going to be over with by sometime in the second quarter, assuming Michigan is as good as we know they're going to be on offense this year. To go from that 4 games in a row to all of a sudden being in a hostile environment in Lincoln, I had never even thought about it, to being in a hostile environment, Matt Rule's going to put all his emphasis on Michigan in terms of his first year. That could be a dangerous game, and that's kind of the only way I thought about it. To go from not getting up 4 weeks in a row to all of a sudden it's the fourth quarter in Lincoln. Remember 2 years ago, Cade McNamara and this Michigan team, they were in a dogfight in the fourth quarter in Lincoln. This could be an interesting game.
Absolutely. You're right about that. In fact, looking at the schedule now, they're going to be a favorite until they get to Ohio State, and probably then too. But if you look at Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana, and Michigan State, you're going against 5 very good coaches, most of whom have beaten Michigan at some point or other, and that will make their entire season. So I'm not saying Michigan should win them, but is it a straight shot to Ohio State? No way.
Hey,
I agree.
John, and we're talking to John Bacon, New York Times bestselling author, Michigan historian, on Twitter at John U. Bacon. I don't know if pressure is the right word, because it's not like Jim Harbaugh obviously is in any trouble of losing his job. It would be more of a narrative issue about winning the big one more than anything. But how much pressure, again, forgive the word, is on Jim Harbaugh in Michigan in 2023 for taking that next step, winning a playoff game, winning a national championship? Again, we talk Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, first-year quarterbacks. This probably is Jim Harbaugh's best team coming back. How much pressure do you feel is on Michigan to at least win a playoff game?
Well, it's the kind of pressure that Michigan has not felt since Braylon Edwards' day, where you are a top 5 team, you are expected to win the Big Ten, and you're expected to fight for a national title.
Yeah.
And it's certainly a whole lot better spot than I want to be in than Ryan Day is in, or certainly where Harbaugh was 3 years ago. But it is a certain kind of pressure which comes with almost no margin of error, including all the games you first laid out. That if they go to the fourth quarter with any of the first 4 teams, maybe 5, that will be a black mark. So, and furthermore, there are 2 guys, Will Johnson and J.J. McCarthy, who cannot get hurt.
Yeah, John, one last question for me. I know Matt's eager to get in here with you. Just looking at it from this year, and you never want to say, do they have to win this year? You never want to put anybody under the gun by saying that. The way that I phrase this is this. Like Ryan just alluded to, the young quarterbacks of Georgia, the young quarterbacks of Alabama, the young quarterback of Ohio State. This is an uncertain year for pretty much the top 3 of the top 5 teams, but not Michigan. They got J.J. McCarthy returning. This is going to be his first year, full-fledged quarterback. Doesn't have to worry about Cade McNamara and who's going to be the starter. And maybe you play the first half and then you play the second half. Like, they have J.J. They have Blake Corum coming back. In 2024, it's going to be a much different situation. It's going to be a much bigger questions as it relates to Lincoln Riley and then playing UCLA at the end of the schedule and then Ohio State, blah, blah, blah. Does that put any more pressure on Michigan this year to win in 2023 while they have everything that they need to be the best team in the country and to get it done at the end of the day?
There's no question. And I can add another layer to the layers that you've already laid out very nicely.
Please do.
Including tailback, quarterback, throwing the offensive line, and a few others, of course, the coaching staff. And that's what Harbaugh's talked about, that he expects 4 out of 10 to be head coaches somewhere else next year. So if that's the case, then right now this thing is built for a title, and next year you're rebuilding the whole thing in some form.
Hey, John, I wanted to ask you about the news of the week. I think most of us, fair to say, shocked at the happenings at Northwestern, first and foremost by the hazing allegations, and then the way the week progressed with a 2-week suspension in the summer to 48 hours, Pat Fitzgerald gets fired. What was your take on that whole situation in Evanston?
It's hard to say you're shocked when you've been around college football as long as I have been, and you guys have been too. But I guess I really was. And I've written very positively about Pat Fitzgerald and his program. In 4th and Long, I had great access in 2012 and saw how they do it. And one of my lines was, if you don't like Northwestern football, you don't like college football, because how they were doing it was so impressive. But look, you read the reports, and you guys have. I don't see how you spin this. Including basically what amounts to a sexual assault. Some racist components have come out since. And, boy, you have two choices if you're Pat Fitzgerald, and they're both bad. One is that you were unaware and therefore incompetent. Or 2, you were aware and you didn't care. Or 3, you were aware and you encouraged it. So none of them are good. And that's how he lost his job. This all would have been buried were it not for the student newspaper, the Daily Northwestern.
JU, quick follow-up to that is, in terms of the Northwestern situation, one, I'm glad it's not Michigan. I feel like every time you and I get on this phone, something has happened to Michigan. So luckily it's not Michigan, although this is a terrible thing. Do you think them firing Pat Fitzgerald all of a sudden on Monday, and your thought, because I know you've watched, you paid attention, you've done the outline, did they fire him because of the backlash of everybody responding to what happened, the report, the investigation, what was alleged to happen? Was it the response to that, or was it the response to the compiling evidence of 3 new allegations in terms of former players saying racist undertones or racist tones were used? Did that somehow compile on Monday, or that had nothing to do with it at all? It was the backlash.
No, I think it compounded. Look, they gave him a 2-week suspension, which is essentially a slap on the wrist, until the story broke through the Northwestern Daily Student. The Daily Northwestern, sorry. So without that breaking, the president's plan clearly was to give him a slap on the wrist and go back to business as usual. And I hate to say it, but I have to add another component, and that is the fact that they were 1-11 last year. And it's very hard to survive any scandal when you're 1-11. And it shouldn't matter, but we both know it does.
Yeah. Okay, I lied. One last question. Northwestern University was on schedule to try and build or start to build or break ground. I'm somewhere in the area, maybe wrong on the details, but they're somewhat correct, on an $800 million stadium in Evanston. And part of that was how good the program had been under Pat Fitzgerald. He was the guy that led that program. Now, What would Northwestern be? $800 million stadium. You're 1-11 last year. You just fired the guy that was the guy at Northwestern. That stadium's probably a scrap idea now.
I don't think it's scrapped, but man, I'm glad I'm not doing fundraising at Northwestern this week.
I agree.
Because look, the way these gifts go, when universities say they've raised $800 million, you really haven't. You raised $800 million in promises. And there are contracts that come with these things, but they're often estate gifts where when I die, you'll get $20 million, things like this. And they've got plenty of money there, Lord knows. I've taught for 6 summers at Northwestern, Medill students, so I'm proud of what they've done. And they've got plenty of money, but how much of that was attached to Pat Fitzgerald? This guy was their Joe Paterno. There's no coach in the history of the program who is more Northwestern than Pat Fitzgerald. And I guarantee you he knew all those donors.
Yeah.
And, boy, I'll say this. I wouldn't say it's over, but I would not be surprised if that project is in jeopardy.
Glad I asked.
I got a couple for you. Go back to Michigan for a second. Any news on Ward Manuel and Jim Harbaugh? Are they talking yet? It's been a year now, right? Over a year?
Depends on whom you ask. Yes.
Do you find anything else that we should know about those two guys?
Look, I mean, Harbaugh has taken NIL by the horns, basically. He's done it himself. He's traveled the country, but they still don't know where to put the money. They still don't know what group they're going to go with. If Michigan, they're catching up in many ways. And certainly McCarthy, Blake Corum have gotten enough to not jump to the NFL,
right?
Which is a good sign for Michigan. But they're still behind by a year or two, the Ohio State, Alabama, and then all the rest. And, of course, we all know in Alabama's case, when Prohibition ends, bar. So for them, it's a very easy transition. So Michigan, of course, has got to get into the bar business all of a sudden. So they're already behind in many ways. But as you guys point out, for the next 2 or 3 years, looking pretty good. The recruiting of the last 2 years was not great, but this year it's been lights out. So you might see a dip next year, but I bet in 2 or 3 years they'll be right back there.
That's good news. Last thing, I know you're a newspaper guy, so am I. You read this week that the New York Times is disbanding their sports department. And I just want to get your take on that and the future of newspapers in general.
Man, all the happy topics today. Thanks, fellas.
Well, it's July, John. We'll have you back in August, and we'll talk football.
That sounds good. Keep the number handy. I'll look forward to that one.
Right.
But, well, look, it's a sad day. I was surprised to see that also. I've written for the New York Times sports section. It's not, the same as LA Times and so on, but it was a very good and very serious section. And they are making a huge bet on the Athletic, over which they only have, not complete control. So that's a scary thing there. I guess when you talk about the future of newspapers, I go back to the great Molly Ivins comment in Texas. She had the great line when someone asked her, does it sadden you to see newspapers die? And she said, not nearly as sad as I get when I see newspapers commit suicide, which is what's happening.
Yep. There you go. There used to be a great Monday sports there for the New York Times. I was always a New York News and New York Post guy, but Monday's sports section for the New York Times was excellent. I'm sorry to see it go.
Ditto.
Well, they will never get rid of the best-selling list, and that's where you will also find John U. Bacon on the New York Times best-selling authors. John U. Bacon, thank you so much for your time, buddy. Really appreciate it. And if you're willing to stay on with us in August, we'll talk some football on the field. J.J. McCarthy, Will Johnson, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards. Let's go.
Somebody's ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, John.
Guys,
we're going to get a break in.
Back to the boat, John.
When we get back, we are going to talk to our friends here from Outdoor Equipment Company, and we will get into the Lions. Lots of Lions discussion to whet your appetite on a Friday. We'll do that next, but first a message from Planet Fitness.
All right, guys. Summer is a great time to join Planet Fitness and beat it. How about it, man? Beat the heat. Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anyone, can go there and feel comfortable, work on their fitness goals, and they are there for you to build a lasting, active lifestyle. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym, tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes. That's right, you got it. Your fitness is essential. Fitness is a key part of the physical and mental well-being. For more information to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or dial them up on the line, on the web at planetfitness.com.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard.
Corner, jumper,
Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Join us at Dispo Family Live at their Hazel Park location this Friday. Yes, that's tomorrow. We'll be back at Dispo Hazel Park. The best place to go. Simply put 21 and older you got to be. And guess what? It's recreational older, so you got to only want rec, not med. The best brands going. They got Hyman, they got Runts, they got everything you need to get to where you want to be. Over 9 locations in the state. But we will be at Hazel Park tomorrow. Come join us tomorrow. Woodward Sports Network at Dispo Hazel Park.
We got Maz on that rack.
No, that wasn't wreck. And he was a wreck. You can only imagine.
Right.
And he was on wreck.
Gang, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network. We are at Outdoor Equipment Company, OutdoorEquipCo.com here, 27 Mile Road in Ray, Michigan. Jim Sape is the owner of this fine facility. Jim, thanks so much for having us out. Thanks so much for your partnership at Woodward Sports. Pleasure. This place is great, man. Just first of all, give us a little backstory on you and how this all came to be. You used to be a landscaper?
Yeah, so I started out in the landscape business, cutting grass, made my way through into the commercial market, and just realized I wanted a dealership that was going to service the commercial guy. So what better way to find one, just build it ourselves.
There's no doubt about that. And again, any successful business, you need great equipment and great people, and it seems like you have both.
Yep, we've been very fortunate to find that.
Talk to me about some of the equipment you have here. Yeah. You know, we read the live reads every day. And you got the the LS tractor and the steel and the bad boy. I mean, you guys got everything here, top of the line stuff.
So when we decided to get in the equipment business, we went to look for a line that we wanted to sell, and we found Bad Boy Lawnmowers, which is American made. Mm-hmm. They're built in Batesville, Arkansas. They've done a really good job for the commercial guys all the way down to the homeowner. So when we say bestseller, there's really a lot.
Right.
I got you.
We cover a lot of different.
You gotta forgive me.
Yeah, we cover a lot. We cover a lot of different markets. So there's a best one for the commercial guy. There's a best one for a homeowner, but they don't just cater to one market, and that's really what we've liked about them.
And I think that's important too to point out that whether you are commercial landscaper taking care of a couple of businesses or a homeowner, you do have that product here for that services both clientele.
We do. So with my background being in the commercial lawn business, that's kind of what we led with when we went into business. But we don't forget to take care of the homeowner as well. And
you talk about that equipment too. So much easier to do the job when you have good equipment.
Right. So yeah, we cover. We have a whole wholesale division that we really are catering to the commercial guy. Zero downtime. So if a unit's down, we realize these guys are making their living with that equipment. So we'll get out there and fix it. But yeah, we're really trying to take over the market with the Bad Boy Lawnmowers, and they've been helping us out with that.
All right, Jay, I need you to do me a favor. Now, this Maz has been sitting over there. He's been excited since the show started. Tell me about that piece of equipment that he's sitting on, acting like he knows what he's doing.
He don't know what the hell he's doing.
He don't know what the hell he's doing.
So that piece of equipment is actually my personal demo. I don't know how it ended up in there.
Now we get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, so that mower there has a so that has a 3-cylinder, 25 horse diesel engine in that. That mower will cut grass. You can put forks on the front, and actually we can put a backhoe on the back of that.
Can you take somebody on a date in that? Is what I want.
You can take someone on a date in that.
You can take somebody on a date in that.
That's what I love. Ice cream shop.
Bad Boy has been doing a really good job with their tractors, and we've had a hard time keeping them in stock. So they've been flying out of here. So that one was supposed to be my personal one, but it looks like he's taking it home.
All right. and Jim, give me a sense now. Earlier today, Darren McCarty was on a lawnmower ride against the young man. The young man beat the crap out of Darren McCarty. He's over here now. Come up on stage. Come up on stage. Come on up. Come on up.
Yeah, I think he might have been practicing.
Oh, my God.
All right, here we go.
Bring him in here.
What's your name, big guy?
Bryson.
All right, Bryson. Talk to me about riding and racing a lawnmower against Darren McCarty, a 4-time Stanley Cup champ who has nothing on you, Bryson. Pretty good stuff?
Yeah.
Was it fun? What was the biggest asset? What was your biggest thrill there? Beating him, winning as always. You beat a 4-time Stanley Cup champ, and that always does the job. What is this facility over here, Jim? Can people use this? What is the deal with that racetrack over there?
We set that
just set up for today.
We set that racetrack up for today, but we're definitely gonna. This is our first annual. We definitely want to do that every July. And we're gonna continue to do that. I think everybody had a lot of fun with that today.
Absolutely, man.
Is it easy to teach people like me how to drive? You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna drive. You're gonna get out there.
I don't know anything about the tractor, man. You'll get me right.
We're gonna give you a rundown. We're gonna give you a rundown on
I'm
one.
scared.
It's just like pushing a shopping cart.
All right, cool. Do I need a driver's license for it? I'm saying.
Well, we'll make some exceptions for
That's
you.
why I appreciate that. Don't make me race up.
Jim, before we let you go, I want you to say a shout out to all your employees and family and friends that are out here that help you make this place great.
We appreciate everybody that's made this vision come to life. It definitely helps to have good people beside us, and that's what's made all our dreams come true. So we definitely appreciate everybody that's been along for the ride. It's been a good adventure.
All right, Jim Sape, thanks so much. Jim Sape, owner, Outdoor Equipment Company, right here on 27 Mile Road in Ray, Michigan. OutdoorEquipCo.com. OutdoorEquipCo.com. We will be right back. Hour number 2 just around the corner. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, your best bud, whoever you want to give it to. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. And there they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hour number 2, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Woodward Sports on YouTube. If you can't watch live, download our podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star review, available everywhere you listen to podcasts. And, of course, woodwardsports.com for the latest news, articles, updates, show clips, and merchandise. We do have a little bit of personal breaking news from Braylon Edwards.
No. That's not for them.
Oh, okay.
I was raising my hands to ask a question.
Okay, ask the question.
Are you calling on me?
Yes, I am calling on you.
We have to get you some interviews with some younger kids.
I haven't done one in a long time.
Because that young man came up here. Did you ask him about assets?
Yeah, dude, I was...
You reached down deep.
I reached down deep and came up empty.
Maz, I instantly thought about you reaching down deep and coming up
empty.
empty.
I didn't
He was
know
like,
what was
so
going on.
what type of assets did you come out with? I was like, wow.
I don't know.
You going to ask him about his 401k too?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
No,
always thinking in terms of financially.
Did you get a chance to
just
watch
messing with
quarterback
you.
last night?
I
Ryan?
did not. I did not watch it. I know you guys did, though. What's your...
I want Maz to go first. Maz,
All
you
right.
brought it up. Want to ask you first, Maz. What did you think about quarterback last night? And we were talking about it potentially replacing Hard Knocks. Maz, goes to you.
That's a fact. Hard Knocks is done.
It's a wrap.
It's done. It's a wrap. Netflix did a phenomenal job. The deal is they followed 3 quarterbacks for the entire year. Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, and Kirk Cousins. And you go into their lives, into their homes, when they're with their family, apple picking. And, you know, Kirk Cousins, after that first win, when they whipped up on the Green Bay Packers, you saw him in the press conference with that dad shirt, button down, half sleeve, and the tweets were coming fast and furious. This guy's rolling in Cole's cash was the best tweet I ever saw. And he said, look, I don't dress myself. My wife picks out my outfits. You go to his wife. She shows his closet. He probably has 20 of those short sleeve shirts. Everyone was guessing what make they were. Was it Eagle, American Eagle? Was it Walmart? It turned out they were Patagonia. And let me tell you something.
That's an Ann Arbor brand.
I love Kirk Cousins. I fall in love with Kirk Cousins.
I probably will like him after watching this, too.
You will love him.
Hard not to.
So, Maz, I absolutely agree with you 100%. After watching it last night, look, the only thing in the beginning, when Peyton Manning was narrating at first, I was like, this could be bad because I didn't like Peyton Manning narrating at first. Got over it immediately, start watching the show. And then once you see how the show was going, now you can start to see in your mind what you know was coming. Like instantly when you watch episode 1 and you're watching Kirk Cousins win, you're watching Mariota win, you're like, oh, they're going to do the big moments, which means they're going to do Kirk Cousins and the Colts game, which means they're going to do Patrick Mahomes and the ankle and the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship against Joe Burrow. This thing is going to be amazing. And we talked about it yesterday. It's going to be some disappointment. Marcus Mariota. They're dealing with everything. They're dealing with the success. They're dealing with the high-end disappointment, which would be Kirk Cousins. And then they're dealing with the individuals that are the fringe players in the NFL. I think it's going to be dope. I think it's going to be great. And I think Hard Knocks is going to struggle. You know why? I didn't even think about this. Usually when Hard Knocks picks a team, they pick that team way in advance. Like when they did the Lions way in advance, they were in Detroit in May, June, July, shooting B-roll, shooting footage, knowing the angles they wanted, know how they wanted to set Hard Knocks up, how they wanted the theme to be of Hard Knocks Detroit. They don't have that type of time. They're going to be pushing and worrying and, like, getting everything last minute, trying to get things through. And you know who that's going to aggravate? You know who that's going to piss off? Robert Saleh and his quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. They're going to be trying to get things done at the last second. It's going to be chaos. I think there's going to be some problems for the Jets.
Marcus Mariota's story, you would say, why is Marcus Mariota? Why are they following him? Well, the guy was with Tennessee, obviously. Won the Heisman at Oregon. Has a good career at Tennessee. Gets replaced by Ryan Tannehill. He looks for a team. He goes to the Raiders. He backs up Derek Carr for 2 years. Then he's looking for a team. And who does he go to? He goes to Arthur Smith, his former offensive coordinator for the Titans, who now got the job for Atlanta. So they promise each other, look, I'm going to take care of you, blah, blah, blah. First game, they lose a lead late, and they lose to the Saints. He fumbles a snap that would have won them the game if they had gotten a half a yard. They win. He fumbles a snap, field goal, they lose. The following week, they lose another tough game by 3 points.
Desmond Ridder.
Yep. Then and they picked Desmond Ridder, and he's got to be teaching Desmond Ridder. So third game, they won close. So they're 1-2 right now after the first two episodes. And you see his wife; she's pregnant. Their first girl is being delivered soon. And you see what a nervous wreck he is that he's going to lose his job in Atlanta. And we know eventually he does. It's tough.
Hey, Tom Mazawey, look, man, I'm going to teach you something in 2023. You got to say spoiler alert. You got to say spoiler alert,
well, I think
sir.
the season's over already.
You just told him everything that's going to happen.
Yeah, you know what? I did not watch, but, like, you feel like you know the story already anyway. You just now have to see it in detail, in your own detail. I will say I thought you made the point yesterday. I'm trying to decide what's different between this Netflix series and Hard Knocks, and I think you're totally on point about this. Because you want Hard Knocks to be about individual players anyway.
Exactly.
This takes the team aspect out of it and does focus on those individual players. How many times last year when we were talking about Hard Knocks, he said, the best episode was when they went home with Aiden Hutchinson.
There you go.
Right?
That was having to do with him.
That was
Malcolm Rodriguez shopping.
Showing Malcolm Rodriguez shopping, or showing Craig Reynolds talking to his brother in prison. Yep. You know, like those personal moments, all of which happened outside of the facility, outside of the football building.
My wife is hooked already.
Yeah.
The only time you want to see the team as a whole, is either one when they're playing games, and even then you're still looking for the individual within the team. And then when they're in the team meeting rooms and they're having fun, when they're doing the rookie show. Like to this day, people still tune into Hard Knocks because they're trying to catch that Shannon Sharp and Ray Lewis and Tony Saragusa vibe when they were doing the rookie talent show, when the players are rookies and they got to imitate the veterans and come up with stuff. I was getting Spencer Raxter over there getting hyped. I was getting excited thinking about actually even commenting on somebody's post today. It was like, damn, I missed training camp. And then I had to think about it. I was like, nah, not 100 degrees and sweating 2 days and what you call it, curfew. But I did miss those shows, man. It's all on Hard Knocks. So
hey, eight episodes in season 1. They're about 55 minutes each. I highly recommend you if you got Netflix, pop it on and have some fun. It's really good.
Definitely going to watch over the weekend.
Maz, and I asked this to you and Ryan. Maz, Ryan, what can Hard Knocks, if anything, what can they do this year or this season with the New York Jets, second time Aaron Rodgers? What can they do to possibly come back next year?
Well, I love what they did with your team, with Rex Ryan and all, and just focusing on Rex and how much he wanted to win and how much he wanted to have snacks and how much he loved women's feet.
He's a person
Stuff like that.
Shut up.
I want to see
Hey,
Aaron
man,
Rodgers.
that's my coach, man. What you talk about, my
I
coach?
want to see Aaron Rodgers. I want to see his beautiful home, which I've seen on the outside in New Jersey, in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. I want to go inside that place where it's got 10 bathrooms and 9 bedrooms. It's got white everywhere, white marble, heated floors everywhere. I want to see him going to practice. I want to see him going to Giants
Robert
Stadium.
Saleh.
I think it's going to be great. Quentin Williams hopefully will be happy by then. I want to see the comeback of Breece Hall.
You know what I want to see?
Who do you want to see?
I want to see draft boards. I want to see player evaluation.
How about Sauce?
No. I want to see draft boards
saying.
player evaluation. How many times last year were Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell talking about a player they don't show the board? I want to see the board. I mean, and I know I'll never see the board.
Yeah.
And I know they won't talk about specific players, but that's how they keep that going, is if you legitimately show a conversation about, well, if we pick this guy here, we take this guy. If we get this guy in free agency, when you talk about cuts, so maybe you're not talking about the draft board. When you're talking about cuts, tell me what Tom Kennedy did not do. Don't just show me that you cutting Tom Kennedy. Show me
why and what happened. What was the process?
That real evaluation in the coach's office with the general manager.
Let me tell you why you'll never see it. I started realizing the NFL was much different than college and much different than what I had thought it was. I started understanding the politics. I started understanding that it was something bigger at play. I remember being in Cleveland and just like roaming around sometimes in the summertime. And this would have been like my second year. So this would have been in the summer. I'm there rehabbing at the same time, just, walking around. I think I just had meetings somewhere. And I walked into the war room. It's like I walked into the war room. Somebody like ran in after me. It was the assistant to the GM, like a little desk job or whatever. Assistant ran in after me and like closed up the board. Like how the sliding chalkboard.
Yeah.
So he slid it over their projections and the things they had. And so then it became my job to try to sneak up there for the next couple of years I was with the Browns. Every time, man, they guard that from the players. So if they won't tell the players, like who they're potentially thinking about drafting, why they're thinking to potentially draft that player. I'm talking about a guy. I went up there after my Pro Bowl year and still couldn't take a look at the board. They won't show us. They damn sure are not showing the public.
Damn.
Yeah, they wouldn't show players unless you're, Peyton Manning has privy to the board.
He's making the board.
He is.
This is Peyton Manning's production too, quarterback.
Omaha
production. So
Omaha
him
Productions.
narrating the beginning. I like Peyton Manning. I think the more of him, the better.
Peyton Manning is to the NFL what LeBron James is to the NBA. Like they've become those players, and obviously Peyton's a little older, but they've become those players that they are the true ambassadors, whether they're playing or not. They're the ones that, hey, like if they're talking to Roger Goodell, Peyton, anything Peyton needs, get it to him. It's like the NBA, and I'm not hating. I think that's great that they put themselves in those positions, but anything Peyton Manning, because nobody else is getting that access. Like they got some access for the Minnesota Vikings facility, the Kansas City Chiefs facility, the Atlanta Falcons facility. Nobody's getting that type of access or anything unless the last name is Manning.
Coming up next, we're talking Lions. Subplots to track throughout training camp. We will talk about it next. But first, a message from Big Boy.
Big boy.
Big boy. You got it, guys. It's
two big
Strawberry
boys
Fest at
over
Big
there.
Boy. Probably a lot of strawberries out this way. We're in Ray Township here, of course. But come on out to Big Boy. Start your day with a great breakfast, the strawberry hotcakes, the mouth-watering red velvet waffle, just to start it off, or a little lunch, strawberry bacon chicken wrap, or a fresh salad. The refreshing summer splash salad, as we're still in the midst of summer. And don't you dare leave without dessert. The classic strawberry pie and a little whipped cream on top of that. The deep-fried vanilla Oreo. How about the strawberry hot fudge cake? Or if you just want a burger, you know what they ask for. The Big Boy at Big Boy.
Big boy.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. Whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, however you're consuming Woodward Sports, absolutely appreciate it. Hit the like button for us if you're watching on YouTube. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports as well. Braylon, I want to talk a little Lions right now, if we could. I thought this was pretty fun. Peter Schrager of the NFL Network had Brad Holmes on, Lions general manager, and they talked a little bit about picking up Jahmyr Gibbs at the draft.
When did you fall in love with Jahmyr Gibbs, and what did you love about him?
Man, it's funny that you said you heard that about him going that early, because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, nobody's going to do this except us. And then after we picked him, then I heard all these other gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, no, that's who we wanted. Yeah.
Right? I'm glad you picked him there because he wasn't going to make it. But, I first fell in love with him. Obviously, I didn't know about him that much when he was at Georgia Tech that year before. Yeah. So I went to that Texas-Alabama game earlier in the year, and I saw his body type, and like, this guy looked intriguing. Then I kind of saw what he was doing in both phases. He can run it, but what he was doing as a receiver, the explosiveness and everything about him, and we just kept doing work on him. And like I said, kind of do some draft prep during the season and kept doing work on him, and that was just kind of it for me. I was like, this guy's and he's a weapon. He's a weapon, and when you talk about all the running backs going in the first round and all that kind of stuff, I always say, like, if he's a weapon, then forget the RB
positionless players.
That's in,
right? Like that's how it looks.
That's what he is. Like we thought he was a multi-phase, elite, explosive, positionless weapon.
So what I took from this, Ryan, and just listening to this is everybody else, man, with Brad Holmes, he's not afraid to do his own scouting. He's not afraid to march to the beat of his own drum. He's not afraid to go after and doing things a little different. He doesn't want to go after who everybody else is going after. He doesn't want to go after whatever non-scouting professional, whatever mock draft you saw. He doesn't want to go after those guys. He wants to go after the guys that he saw with his own eyes, with his scout's eyes as well, with their own identity in place. What guys fit our system? What guys do we like? We're looking for certain type of guys. Jahmyr Gibbs is the type of guy that he saw and that he liked. It doesn't matter that other teams, Jahmyr Gibbs didn't fit their system. It doesn't matter that Jack Campbell isn't who other guys would have drafted 18. They trust their eyes. They trust their vision. And when you have success like they've had with their draft picks, we're excited because of how their draft picks have played in the last 2 years that they've been drafted. We're excited when you look at Kirby Joseph. You're excited when you look at Justin Houston last year in the breakout year. So when you have a track record of things working, don't forget, Cooper Kupp is his pick. Cooper Kupp is who he sorted out, drafted, scouted, said that this is a guy that we should pick up. So when you have that many under your belt that work, who are we to sit back and say, Jahmyr Gibbs, this is a different NFL. There's a different time of day. It's who you think fits your system. And Jahmyr Gibbs in this new kind of positionless backfield, if you kind of want to say, I don't want to use the NBA, it's like a positionless backfield. Like, how many real running backs are there? How many wide receivers are there playing running back? And how many running backs are there playing wide receiver? He went after Jahmyr Gibbs. He wanted to make that move, and I think it's going to be a good payoff.
Hey, he got me excited. It sounds like he's a kid in a candy store, and he can't wait to show his toy to the rest of the neighborhood. So I'm really looking forward to it. I ask you guys, if you did the draft again and you're picking at 6, and Bijan Robinson is there waiting for you, and Jahmyr Gibbs is waiting for you.
Gibbs.
You're taking Gibbs over Bijan still?
Taking Gibbs. I'm taking Gibbs
is it because of the way he's been talked about since then?
Yes. Obviously, I was the guy for 4 months that was saying take a running back.
Yeah.
And I was right about the position, wrong about the player, but right about the position. And it just feels like Gibbs isn't. They back in the Rich Rod days, they reclassified offensive skill position players as athletes. He's not a running back or he's not a wide receiver. He's an athlete.
Right.
I feel like Gibbs is an athlete. Gibbs is a playmaker. He's not one-dimensional. Not saying that Bijan is, but Bijan feels like a one-dimensional, traditional,
like Derrick Henry,
hard-nosed power. Well, if you're a Derrick Henry type guy, I'll take that too.
Well, I think he is.
But you understand what I'm getting at.
I think also not to mention, you know what I'm saying, it's easy to say, well, look, he doesn't know running backs. You know what I'm saying? Look at Cam Akers out there with the running backs in the Rams. Like, they didn't know. Well, you know what? Actually, he does, because he was there when they scouted, when they drafted Todd Gurley, so he knows a little bit about running backs. But
can I just pick up on something you said real quick?
Go ahead.
Because you were talking about Brad Holmes is picking guys he doesn't care who they are or what other teams think based on the Peter Schrager interview. You know who that sounds an awful lot like? Bob Quinn in the Patriot Way. The only difference is Brad Holmes guys work out.
Yeah, this is true.
Brad Holmes guys perform on the field.
This is true.
And Brad Holmes has a track record of having drafts and getting friggin' all-pro guys in the 4th round, having 6th-round picks be starters, having 7th-round picks make the team and playing contributing roles. Hell, having 1st and 2nd-round players be studs. Can we just start there?
Yep.
At the end of the day, you got to appreciate this, man. Here's the camera. I'm looking at it coming in full effect. The Detroit Lions fans and the Lions as a whole, they better be excited that they got a guy like Brad Holmes that has the balls to make the picks that he wants, to have the balls to say, you know what, I don't need that guy. I don't have to draft the guy that everybody says is a home run. He has the brass and the stones to trade up to get this guy who nobody is talking about, who people are asking why would they make that move. And then you get guys like Peter Schrager who actually appreciate his work. They're asking him, what went into this decision? What were you thinking about? How did you do this? They're not asking him because they think he's crazy, Ryan. They're asking him because they're picking his mind. They're trying to see how he thinks. How does he step outside the box? Because people want to put this into who they are. People aren't scared a lot of times to pull the trigger. People aren't scared to see something or to make that angle or to make that play. They see it, but it's like, I'm going to just go where this is what everybody else would do. This is what makes sense. They told me to make this move. No one will get mad if I make this move. Some people, they don't mind going left and said, nah, the hell with that. This is what we do.
Couple of different subplots to track. NFL.com author Ken Patra put these out there. We'll reveal them to you next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring. Technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Okay, let's talk through all these golf events that you have coming up.
Gabby, I'm glad you asked. Got my calendar right here. July 17th at Red Run, and then July 31st, I have the American Golf outing for the Cancer Society.
I also have the American Cancer Society golf outing on the 31st. And also, I got yours on the 18th, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Oh, boys, these are a lot of events and golf outings.
Well, you want me to miss my own golf tournament?
Gabby, They're all great cars.
I mean, this
Okay,
is
hold on. I got this. Guys, I got this. Don't worry about it. Hold on a second.
He always.
Hey guys. Thanks for coming so fast. How are ya? Remember the guys from Randy Wise, right? The Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
Watch for the eye.
Stay tuned. It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports. And some, well, not so much. Brought to you in part by Premier Security Solutions, Fairway Packing Company, and Swiss Insurance. Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
We are live at Outdoor Equipment Company, OutdoorEquipCo.com, OutdoorEquipCo.com, landscape supplies and equipment for commercial use, for personal use. However you need to take care of your property, they've got you covered. Here we've got Maz on the bad boy mower out here. He feels as good as he ever has. Braylon is over here as well, having a lot of fun. We want to thank Outdoor Equipment Company for their partnership here at Woodward Sports. Bray.
What's up, brother?
NFL.com writer Kevin Patra charted some subplots to track for the Detroit Lions this year. Shall I just go through, pick a couple apart here?
Absolutely.
We'll go through number one.
do that.
Number one. Detroit prioritized upgrading its woe-begone secondary this offseason, adding Cam Sutton, Emmanuel Mosley, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, drafting Brian Branch. It's clear that General Manager Brad Holmes desired versatility in the back end. He got it. The upgrade's one of the worst secondaries in the NFL on paper. Now we get our first real look at how defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn plans to deploy new pieces. That's a really great point about Aaron Glenn now. We are going to get to see what he's truly made of when he has a little bit of talent here. He has had to just kind of make chicken salad out of you-know-what. And
during the quarterback last night, the video, the show, they showed the Vikings comeback against the Lions. And, half those guys in the secondary are gone. Like, you see Jeff Okudah out there, gone. So it's a whole new thing.
Worth pointing out as well, Bray, before you jump in, Hendon Hooker, Malcolm Rodriguez, Levi Onwuzurike, and I mentioned this because he's mentioned in this, Emmanuel Mosley could start the season on PUP or NFI lists. So not sure whether or not Emmanuel Mosley will be available when the season starts, but they knew that going in. Either way, they're going to have a much more talented defensive group than they did a year ago, and now we'll see what Aaron Glenn really is made of.
Yeah, much better group. You look at those guys and look at Aaron Glenn in 2021. Look at him in 2022. Every time he was under the gun, he got better. Even in 2021, only 3-13-1. Season was horrible, but there are times where that defense fought, especially towards the end of the year, and times in there where you're like, I see what Aaron Glenn is doing. He has guys motivated. And then in 2022, there was guys that re-signed with the Detroit Lions because they believed in Aaron Glenn. They believe. Look at Tracy Walker. He's one of those guys. He signed that contract at the end of 3-13-1 season. So you look at what Aaron Glenn is doing. He builds guys up. Last year they started 1-6. They fire Aubrey Pleasant. Look what the defense did after that. They got better and better and better and better. And this is what players that we talked about from 2021 to last year. They're undermanned. They're understaffed. These aren't the guys that they're really going to win with. May have been a little harsh, but it's true. Now the guys that they're going to win with, now the guys they can take it to the next step with, next stage with, now those guys are here. I don't think Aaron Glenn doesn't have a job. I mean, he's not going to do anything but have success because we've seen him when the roster was nowhere near what it is now. Find ways to have success. Find ways to beat the Minnesota Vikings. Find ways to beat the Broncos. Find ways. And now that the roster's good, now you got Pro Bowlers, you have all pro players on there. Aaron Glenn finally has what he needs, and he's going to take a major step.
I feel like poor choice of words on my part because we're not going to find out what Aaron Glenn is made of. We know what he's made of. We know what he's done with lesser talent. The question should have been, and I think you're appropriate just to move past the question, but the The question should have been, we'll see how good he can be now with talented players, not what he's made of.
And I know what you meant. And
Yeah.
You're 100% right. We know what he's made of, but now we get a chance. Like, we get a chance to be spectators, to pull up a seat and watch as he's going to put something defensively on the field that is going to be great. We know it's going to happen. Last year, the offense was the big thing. It was so fun to watch the Lions score more than 17 points a game. They were putting up 40. They were putting up 38, 35. That was the big thing that carried them. But defense is what carried them through that last 10 games that everybody talks about. Nobody talks about the Lions' great offensive exploits last year. They talk about the last 10 games, and if I'm correct, the last 10 games, that was a defensive effort. My God, oh my, now you have C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Emmanuel Mosley, potentially Cam Sutton and others. Maz, you're going to get your wish.
I know, man. I just hope they could all gel together. They're all great names.
Yeah.
And on paper, they're way improved. But, they all we don't know what they can do all together. I think it's going to be a great thing. Let's hope that pass rush gets home and makes their job a lot easier.
I think the good thing about him, is to piggyback what you're saying about fitting together. I think the good thing about them, man, is none of these guys, and don't get me wrong, C.J. Gardner-Johnson was a stud. Cam Sutton was a stud as well. None of these guys that have come to the Lions, Glasgow on the offensive side, I apologize bringing him back home, none of these guys were the end-all, be-all for their team. So they're not coming over to the Lions and trying to fit their greatness or fit their star power. Or it's not like we brought in Nick Bosa. It's not like we brought in Jalen Ramsey. It's not like we brought in a quarterback. We brought in guys that have had to tuck the egos, guys that have had to just play the game, guys that have had to fit in with other major superstars. So I think that will help those guys coming off rosters like the 49ers, coming off rosters like the Steelers defense, and then obviously coming off the Super Bowl runner-ups in the Philadelphia Eagles.
Point 2 on this list, and I kind of want to skip past it because we talk about it ad nauseum, and we'll talk about it a lot more. It is DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams out, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery in. Let's put a pause in that one. Let me go to this one here because this is not one we talked much about, and I really kind of like the question or the implication anyway. Will rookie linebacker Jack Campbell swipe a starting spot? The Lions surprised many by taking an off-ball linebacker in the first round of this year's draft, but Detroit believed the Iowa product was ready to play immediately and would upgrade the middle of the defense. The Lions have made it clear that Campbell will have to earn his way to the top of the depth chart. Training camp will be the best chance for the rookie to prove he belongs in the starting lineup or at least in rotation for reps. What do you make of Jack Campbell and the odds he doesn't capture a starting spot, really? Because I think we all believe that he's going to be the starter week 1 in Kansas City.
Going into the 2005 season, I got drafted by the Cleveland Browns. Going into that season, before the season started, it was either going to be Frisman Jackson starting the wide receiver, Antonio Bryant, and then Dennis Northcutt. They did not draft me 3rd overall to not play over Frisman Jackson and Dennis Northcutt. And then I love Antonio Bryant. AB's my guy. I love AB. But even AB, who's also Biletnikoff, winner out of Pitt. Same thing with Jack Campbell. They did not bring him on this team, not to start this year when the season starts. Jack Campbell will start probably when camp starts, but if not, he'll definitely be starting by the first preseason game. Mark my words on that. He's an exceptional player in terms of his time at Iowa, in terms of what he did at Iowa. He has a nose for a ball, has a knack for the ball. He's a great tackler, intuitive player. He's the type of guy you need. Like, if you look what Brad Holmes is doing, Brad Holmes doesn't bring guys in here that he's going to sit on the bench. Like, he's not bringing guys, especially in the first round. He's looking for Jahmyr Gibbs to be the premier back. Like, that's where the NFL is now. You got guys that can catch and run out of the backfield. He's perfect for that. And adversely, same thing with Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell's coming to play. Like, Jack Campbell's coming to help this defense out. That's where they were bad last year, the interior and the middle. That's where all the havoc was caused by other teams, the offensive lines, the schemes and things they did. Jack Campbell was brought here to shore that up. Aleem McNeil and Isaiah Buggs, we doubled down on them to shore that up. Jack Campbell's got to start this year, and I think it will.
I agree 100%. I love what they've done. They got the 2 Iowa guys. I think they're both going to start. I'm to be honest with you. I think that tight end will start as well. So they didn't draft him just to sit behind these guys, and now Malcolm Rodriguez got an injury. Remember that in not rookie minicamp, but early camp. Yeah. So he might be on the PUP list when this season starts. Jack Campbell, he's got to move up in the rotation because that was Malcolm's position last year.
Keep your eye on Emmanuel Mosley. Like, that's really good news about Emmanuel Mosley potentially being on PUP. Obviously, PUP is a 6-week deal. I think they may have moved it to 4 weeks now, but it's a 4-week deal.
You're talking 4 weeks.
So you're talking about a guy towards ACL last year in November. I believe around that time, he's going to be good. He's going to be ready. And then, hey, you give him an extra 4 weeks to get ready. That's a great job. If he can be ready week 1, because you know who you got week 1. You're going to need all the DBs you can going against Patrick Mahomes and KC.
Hendon Hooker's the only one that's going to be on NFI. That's non-football injury. So the other 3 that you mentioned, Brian, will be on PUP.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll go around the NFL. Some major happenings in the NFL, including the New York Football Giants, what they're doing now at their home stadium. Very intriguing as well. We'll get to that next. Do we do Randy Wise, guys? Do we need a Randy Wise here?
Need a Randy Wise.
How about we do? We need Randy Wise.
How about
Let's
we do
get
a Randy Wise?
Randy Wise.
Mr. Randy Wise.
What could be better than watching celebrities like Braylon and D-Mac play golf?
D-Mac.
Playing golf yourself and being treated like a celebrity. That's what Randy Wise is going to do for you. Stop at any Randy Wise dealership for your chance to play golf like a celebrity. VIP transportation, free golf to one of Michigan's best tracks, and a delicious steak right after that. Compliments of Fairway Packing Company. Make the wise decision. Get to a Randy Wise dealership and your chance to play golf like a celebrity.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, 1 for you, 1 for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
We're live at Outdoor Equipment Company, 27 Mile Road, Ray, Michigan.
Ray.
Awesome facility out here, too, and all the great equipment. The great equipment, the great people here at Outdoor Equipment Company. Want to thank Jim Sape and his team here at OutdoorEquipCo.com. Tom Mazawey, let's go around the NFL. A lot going on.
Yes, sir. Let's start it off with something that happened last night that none of us probably watched, and that was the ESPYs. And I don't know if you got a chance to see Damar Hamlin give out the award, the Pat Tillman Award, to the training staff of the Buffalo Bills. It's a tearjerker.
Please welcome this year's recipient of the Pat Tillman Award for Service, the training staff of the Buffalo Bills.
Man, they saved his life. And the Cincinnati Bengals people, the training staff of the Bengals as well. If you remember that game last year on Monday Night Football. Amazing. It was a miracle. And here he is today, and he's going to play ball this year, Bray.
Yeah, man, this is a crazy thing. And I was actually watching, I told you I'm heavy in my Suits right now, man. Suits is my show. But they were just showing episode in terms of how nurses are just, underappreciated in terms of what they know, what they have to do. This was a nursing home. But I just bring it back to the EMTs, to the nurses, to the doctors, to the physicians, to the people at the stadium, to the people that were ready for them at the downtown Cincinnati hospital. Man, you take it for granted what these people are skilled to do. You're just talking about the guys being so talented to make these machines, here, or that work on the bad boy machines that we found out from Jim. Like, just the things that they do, the EMT, the nurses, the doctor train, the staff, the way that they got to be cool as a cucumber, or as my man Stuart Scott would say, cool as the other side of the pillow. Like, to be under pressure, under fire like that, like DeMar Hamlin, like life hanging in the balance, and they didn't panic. They didn't wander. They didn't waver. They didn't go get Tom. Go get Ryan. No, it's cool. This is what we're going to do. And to save his life, and now, like you said, play football this year, special, man. Like, I don't think we ever give them enough credit. And it was dope to see them be able to get that award on stage, man. That was powerful.
Sure
that was powerful.
Maybe they want to tell us the ESPYs are on next time. Although I probably wouldn't have watched it.
I don't think they had a host because of it.
Anyway.
Well,
isn't the host how they usually announce it?
They didn't have a host because of the strike, the writer's strike.
Did you hear this?
And the actors just went on strike today with the Screen Actors Guild.
Peyton Manning could have hosted it.
SAG.
He wouldn't do it.
He's a SAG.
Yeah,
he's SAG. You can't do it.
You have no host.
How about
It'd be like seen as,
how about McAfee?
It'd be seen as crossing the picket line.
Okay. ESPN wouldn't do that to McAfee because he'd expose, like, that would expose you. Like, even though it's not what he'll be doing in his job, Pat McAfee got up there and a bunch of people like, that wouldn't be a good look to just get $85 million.
Well, you just can't go up there without any prepared remarks. You have writers for those shows. Mass thinks you could just go up there and just do a show. No. You can't just do a show all willy-nilly. You got to be prepared.
The ESPYs is a huge production, so I went to 3 ESPYs or 4 ESPYs, 3 or 4. It's a huge production, man. In between commercials, you got the people with the headsets directing everybody, running around the front row. You sit here, you do this.
It's just all theater.
It is.
They're not doing nothing. Just kidding.
I got locked out one, once they start, Maz, once they start, fellas, once they IA, what's up, IA? Once they start a segment, you can't come in.
No,
it's not like just sneak in like the movie theater. You go in the back. No, if you don't get in when they close those doors. So I got stuck out one year with Plaxico. It was the year after they won the Super Bowl. So I'm out there with him. Man, let's just say by the time we got back in there, we were still outside.
Oh, man.
We were still outside.
You know what time it is.
Yeah.
Tom Mazawey,
Max's house. There you go, Max's house.
Tom Mazawey, what's happening in New York at the stadium?
Lots of stuff. Well, the Meadowlands, known as MetLife Stadium, for the first time in Parker. You don't have
Where's
this,
MetLife
so
Stadium, man?
The Giants and Jets play at MetLife Stadium.
Never heard of it before.
The moniker, usually the logo at center field at the 50 would be the NFL crest. This year, for the first time, the New York Football Giants are going to put up the NY of the New York Giants that's on their helmet. The N with the Y that underlines the N will be on the 50. They're not sure about the Jets yet. We'll find out what they're going to do. But that's a little change for them. Back in the day.
Do we know why?
I don't know. They said
why?
They don't know why. Back in the day, they had the crest of New Jersey in there. They had the New Jersey crest, but they never had the Giant logo. So the Giant logo will be there. Speaking of the Giants.
So you know what the Jets are going to do it too, but you know where the Jets are going to launch it during Hard Knocks. Everything is going during Hard Knocks now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice call there, Bray.
There you go.
Nice call. Speaking of the Giants, they better pay Saquon Barkley. The rumor is that they offered him a deal worth about $13.5 million per season about a month ago, before they tagged him. They said, if you don't take this deal, once we tag you, we're not going to offer any more money. And you know what he has said the last couple of days through his people? Look, if I don't get my long-term deal, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to be there for week 1. Well, today they even said they've offered him $19.5 million in guaranteed money. Now, I'm not sure if that's new or if that's what they offered him back when he was going to sign his deal. So Saquon is still unsigned and looking for his money. You know who the most highest paid running back in the NFL is?
Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson, the rookie who has never played it down in the NFL, makes more money. He makes $13.7 million more than Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry.
And let's just say that is because of where he was drafted.
Yes, that's
Right.
a slot.
Yeah, it's a
but
slot.
those guys are not getting the contract. Running back.
No, I agree with you,
Yeah.
but I just you wonder why is Bijan Robinson, because he was taken so high. That's why.
That's where we're at right now with
Yeah.
running backs.
Understood that, and listen, the New York Giants have to pay Saquon Barkley, and they got to get it done. I'm going to tell you why they get it done and what needs to happen. One, Daniel Jones needs to be Saquon Barkley's biggest cheerleader. Saquon needs Daniel Jones to lobby on his behalf. Look, you're the quarterback. You're the guy that just got paid. You can argue that I am the guy that really got you paid. You're supposed to be lobbying to Dayball right now, to the Mara family right now. You're supposed to be, hey, look, you got to pay my guy. You got to pay Saquon. Saquon is the guy on offense. He's the guy I need. It's the guy you got to pay. That's what you got to do if you're Daniel Jones. Get your guy paid. Learn from Aaron Rodgers' mistakes. The second thing, you got to pay Saquon Barkley because it's the locker room. It's the team. What type of message are you sending to the rest of the guys on the Giants, with the exception of Daniel Jones and Dexter Lawrence? What message are you sending? Like, yo, you can get us into the playoffs. You can ball your ass off, but we're not going to pay you. It doesn't matter. We'll just let you go. You're sending the wrong message to that locker room, and Brian Daboll is a new coach. You need the team to back you. They got to pay him before the season starts.
Are the Pistons as disappointed now that they got the 5th pick, or are they really happy that they picked at number 5 in this year's NBA draft? We'll talk about Asar Thompson.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him next.
Yeah, he's special.
Is he growing on you as a Pistons fan? But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years. Hey, it's the weekend, guys. Get yourself some damn good steaks. Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. Treat yourself. Maybe you got paid today. Go check it out. Go buy yourself some good steaks. Get yourself some good meat. If you can't go there, get yourself some good meat.
Hey, man,
Come on,
you
man.
deserve it. Treat yourself to some good meat.
Treat yourself.
You know it.
Order online. They ship next day. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com.
Source Age Prime.
To
Packed.
perfection,
To perfection.
baby.
Hey, man, you want a treat? Here's some meat. Fairway Packing.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
It's not good.
Oh, but you know what is good?
What is
Outdoor
good,
Equipment
bro?
Company. We are here in Ray Township. Want to thank everybody here. In the remaining moments, Asar Thompson. Look, I'm not going to freak out over Summer League action, but I will say the kid and we don't know how the G League Elite or the Overtime Elite League is going to transfer to the NBA. We've never really seen it before like we are seeing it now. But this kid does look like he can play, and that has to make Pistons fans extremely excited.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at him his first couple of games in the summer league, look, the guy has size, speed, explosion. He has humility. He loves his teammates, and he picks up something in every freaking category, every stat, every box he's checking. 10 points here, 10 rebounds here, assists here, court vision. I'm playing defense. I'm playing both sides of the court. Oh, you want to run the floor? Let's run the floor. Oh, by the way, I'm athletic. Throw the ball up. Here's a little backwards alley-oop dunk. So I got them skills like that. I'm cut like that. Like, it was fun to watch. And if you look at this draft, you're talking about Victor Wembanyama being the highest rated number 1 pick since LeBron. So his number 1 is a little further than the regular number 1. Brandon Miller, you talk about how good he was. Scoot Henderson is the reason why Portland feels free to leave Dame. They're like, you know what? Hey, we got Scoot Henderson. This is the guy we wanted. I give you those 3 names because I'm saying those guys are going to be the elite of the elite. So Asar Thompson at 5. Is Asar Thompson at 5? Could he be on 1 in the Cade Cunningham draft? Could he have been 2 over Jalen Green in the Cade Cunningham draft? That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. Could he have been 1? Could he have been 2-3 last year in last year's draft? Asar Thompson and his brother, Min Thompson, haven't seen him in the summer league, but his brother Asar, he can play, and he's coming here on a mission. He reminds me of the energy of Cade Cunningham, where even though they're young, they're mature cats. Like Asar Thompson, you're listening to him, he wants to get it rolling, wants to get his guys going, think they're doing the right thing. He's a fun guy. I'm excited. And you look at how high those 3 were rated, he could really be a number 1 in another class. Just kind of looking at it.
That's a hell of a take, Bray, and I'm glad you put it in those terms. And when you think, Maz, there's only 1 college player in the top 5 picks of the NBA draft. That is incredible.
Yep, well, number 2 to Charlotte, Brandon
Miller.
Brandon Miller. B. Mills.
I saw Asar get interviewed last night after the game, and I was so impressed.
Smooth.
So upbeat. Always talking about his teammates, saying he's got a lot of growing still to do, but he wants to be a leader, not only with his words, but with his play. I really love what he did. I came back from 17 down last night. He puts up 17 points on his own, and the Pistons win a summer league game. It's okay. I'll take it. They look very good. He says he thinks they're the fastest team in the NBA.
Man, I don't want to knock anybody down to say this, but I'm just going to be honest. Colin Cowherd was talking about this. He was talking about mature quarterbacks. He said the flash, the young, the flashy, talk a lot, popular guys, commercial guys, they never pan out, whether it's Kyler Murray, whether it's Johnny Manziel, whether it's Kyler Murray right now, whether it's Jameis Winston. I know you're going to hate that. But he says those guys don't work. Look in the NBA, it's the same thing. It's the mature guys, the guys that win the mature guys. And I'm looking at Asar Thompson. He's a mature guy. Cade Cunningham, he's a mature guy. You need those mature guys that aren't distracted, that came to play the game to win. And I think Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, those are the type of guys that you win with. They're not guys that are worried. And I'm not mentioning John Morant that way, but they're not necessarily worrying about this, that, and the third. You need mature guys to have success in any one of the 4 sports.
Hey, tomorrow, guys, we are going to be at Dispo in Hazel Park, and we can't thank our partners enough here at Woodward Sports Network. Today, Outdoor Equipment Company. Tomorrow, Dispo. We've been out at Les Stanford as well.
Big boy.
Big boy. We've done remotes there. Guardian Alarm is sending family members flowers that are sick.
Yeah.
I mean, just being part of the family.
Don't forget their Christmas stuff for us.
Yeah, and everything that they do for us for Stuff a Studio. We have some of the greatest partnerships on this network. They're like family to us. They treat us great, and we hope in turn that we treat them great, because if you like Woodward Sports, this is how Woodward Sports continues.
Yeah.
If you need a piece of lawn equipment, get it at Outdoor Equipment Company. If you're buying a car, get it at Les Stanford. If you're at your business, at your home, if you're getting an alarm, get it from Guardian Alarm.
Yeah. Christina Gennari.
Christina, buy a house or sell a house through Christina Gennari.
So,
this is how Woodward Sports continues, by patronizing our sponsors here on Woodward Sports Network, and we just love them to death for allowing us to do what we get to do and so forth. So up and down the line, want to thank all of our sponsors at Woodward Sports Network.
It's also how we keep the lights on. Gotta have the lights on, baby. Gotta pay the bills. Ryan, that was a damn good show, man.
Great job. We'll see you tomorrow. Tom Mazawey, intern Alex, or intern IA, intern Alex.
There you go.
That's
Alex.
what we call him. Parker Brown.
Parker.
The great JB, Jeremy Bryant.
He's out there chasing bees.
That's right. We will see you tomorrow.
Had to snitch on you.
At Dispo in Hazel Park.
See you guys.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.